So I have just picked up my Chevy Bolt. I guess I'll talk about why I bought it. Actually, I'll talk about what I was looking for and then why I settled on this car. I'm actually in it now. We're doing the drive home. It's going to be probably 3 hours. The video's not going to be 3 hours. But I'm going to talk a little bit about it on my drive here. So apologies if I have to every once in a while pay attention to what I'm doing since I am actually driving the car. About to reach a milestone here. About to exhaust my first battery pack charge in the car. Coming down to 1 mile left and I will be officially on the gas engine. Now I am officially on the gas motor. The gas motor has just turned on. So there you go. You got to witness me exhausting my first battery pack on the Bolt, which it did pretty well. We got 36 miles or so on the battery pack, running 75 miles an hour down the highway. That wasn't just a short test drive in the city, but that was 36 miles at 75 miles an hour on the highway, and now we're officially on the gas motor. Well, what did I have? I had a 99 Corolla. It was actually my wife's car. She purchased it before we were married, and that's what she drove. It was actually a former rental, and when she bought it, it had exactly one option: automatic transmission. That's it. Had air conditioning, but that's it. Didn't have cruise control, anything like that. It only had an automatic transmission. That was its only option. So I drove that for several years. After we had our second child, we got a bigger car. So my car had 193,000 miles at the time, so we got rid of it. Got a bigger car, and I started driving her Corolla. And I've been driving that forever. It has 188,000 miles on it now, so it was time to get something new. The engine burns oil, about a quart of oil every 1,000 miles, which should give you some idea in just this little bit of what we were talking about. That's how old this thing was. So, needed something new. We were ready for it. The Corolla we have, it's a 4-cylinder, 3-speed automatic. It doesn't even have the 4-speed, it's a 3-speed. I can get, if I baby it, 28 miles to the gallon out of that car. That was probably decent back then. But you've got a tiny little car, has, airbags, and that's about it. And you can only get 28 miles to the gallon out of it. To give you an idea, our other car is a Toyota Avalon Limited. When we go down the highway, when I baby it at, say, 5 over the limit, we can push 30 miles to the gallon. I've actually been able, when conditions were right, to touch 31 miles to the gallon. And that car has a 3.5 liter V6 that makes 256 horsepower. So, yeah. So my big giant Avalon can do better gas mileage wise than that little Toyota Corolla. So I thought, I definitely want to go hybrid. I want something very fuel efficient. Hybrid was the way to go. So then came the question of, what do you want? My first thought was, whenever anyone thinks hybrid, the first thing they think about is Prius. Just get a Prius. And a guy I work with, he has one. It's a nice car. I like it. And you could get, really good gas mileage out of it. Because while I'm getting 28 miles a gallon on Corolla, I could then step up and get, 45, push 50 maybe, if you really drive it to get gas mileage out of it. But then I thought, well, what if using less gas? What if I could use no gas, not use any? And so the first thing that I thought of when you don't want to use gas is a Leaf, a Nissan Leaf. But I had one problem using a Leaf. Now my commute to work every day is 12 miles one way. So 24 miles total to get back and forth to work every day. But at the time, and I'll say this is actually getting ready to end, but we also have a remote location that I went to about once a week. It's 46 miles one way. So that's 92 miles round trip. That's really beyond what you can safely get out of a Leaf. I've heard people make it that far, but I think the advertised mileage is 80 some miles. I think it's 86 miles. It might be more now. But I was like, that's cutting it kind of close. Because again, it's a fully electric car, there's no backup. You get there, you can't get home. You can't get home. You gotta call a flatbed to take you home because there's nothing you can do. Especially where I live, chargers are not bountiful. So, but then I thought, well, what about a Volt? I've always been interested in these cars. The technology behind them, being able to run electric, but then also have the gas backup, so that you could conceivably use a Volt as your only car. I thought, well, 12 miles one way, 24 miles round trip every day. I could get there. I could get to and from work on just the battery in the Volt and not burn any gas. So in theory, then I could use no gas in this car, back and forth every day, doing nothing but the battery. But then I started looking around, like, well, but I'm not going to buy a new Volt. One of the reasons is where I work for a university, and I street park every day when I park the car. It's on the street with all the other college students. So I'm not going to buy some $30,000 vehicle to street park with a bunch of college students who are going to bang it. And, when they parallel park, they'll bump it, get scratches. The neighborhood's not the best. So somebody will, just to be a jerk, they'll come along and key the side of it. So I thought, well, I want to use Volt. Well, are the batteries going to last? Because so I started looking into what does it cost to replace a battery? What if this battery fails? Well, you look at a Prius, you can get a refurb battery $4 grand, $5 grand, which is not an insignificant amount. However, that's doable. I could put that in the car and just keep going. But then I looked at the Volt. It's like 15 grand to put the battery in here. It's got the T-shaped pack. It's running down along here, run along the back. That's why there's no middle seat. And to replace the battery pack, completely replace all the cells, everything, is about $15,000. That's pretty crazy. So I was like, I don't know, because I don't know if I want to take a chance having something die like that, and then having to put $15,000 into a car, a used car, that isn't going to be worth that much. My thing's falling down, so as I drive, the vibrations are shaking the camera. But then I started doing more, so I went to the Prius, like, I'll probably just stick with the Prius, And I got pretty close to actually buying one. I started looking pretty hard, pretty seriously at it. And then I started doing more research. It's like, it would be really nice if I could just not have to use gas. Because the design of the Volt, the way the Volt works, is being able to get 35 miles on battery alone and then have the gas backup. That this car, the design of this car is perfect for my situation. I am the type of person that Chevrolet had in mind when they designed this car. You're going to use battery, 75% of the time, but then you've got the gas generator backup when you need to go further. And so I kept looking at it, and finally I started really researching. One, found about the warranty. The battery pack in this car is warranted for 5 years, 100,000 miles. Or maybe, I think if you live in California, it was 8 years, 150,000 miles. But anyway, so I've got 100,000 miles of warranty on this. This car only has just over 48,000, so I have 50,000 miles left on this battery pack. And what takes to trigger a warranty is battery failure, or if the battery loses 30% of its range. Even if this pack loses 30% of its range, I will still have enough electric power to get back and forth to work without using any gasoline. So that made me feel better. And then I started reading about Volt longevity and how people who bought these cars originally are still driving them are not seeing really any appreciable range loss in the Volt. The first thing I started to do is, of course, searching around on the internet. I set my search parameters to be 150 mile radius. I said anywhere 150 miles, I will drive that far to go get a car. That's 2 hours drive or so. Like, that's fine. I will do that to go get a car. So I saw this one, contacted the dealership, talked to him. The salesman got back to me, and luckily for me, the guy I dealt with was a veteran of selling cars over the internet. He said in talking to him, he said he sold several, had people fly in to look at cars, pick them up. He said he just sold a Jeep to a guy from Minnesota who actually had to fly in to pick up the Jeep. So, he knew how to do this, so there wasn't a real big hassle. We did a couple emails back and forth, and then we moved on to text when we actually started talking about what the price was gonna be for the car. And eventually came across a good price and said, okay, I'll buy it. Paid $1,000 down with the credit card, and then had a cashier's check issued. Drove up 3 hours this morning in a rental, dropped the rental off at a lot right by the dealership, then had the rental car place took me over to the dealership where I picked it up and had them do the paperwork, sign the forms, gave me a check, all that stuff. So what did I actually purchase? This is a 2013 Chevy Bolt, kind of a silvery light blue in color. It has the main features I wanted: heated seats, leather, backup camera, rear parking sensors. But it was I have to admit, it was very disconcerting when we first walked up to the car, because I wanted to take just a short test drive just to be sure the car was fine. It was certified pre-owned, so I wasn't really worried about that, but I wanted to take a test drive. And we get in and sit down and look, everything's on. The screen's on, the dashboard's lit up. He's like, yeah, the car's on. There was no noise. It was just sitting there parked. But it was actually on, running off the battery, not making any noise. I commented to him several times that it was just weird to come up to a vehicle parked that wasn't making any noise, but was actually on and running. Like I said, I burned through my first battery pack. I now have 0 miles remaining on the battery pack. 263 miles to go on the gas engine. It seems pretty tight. I like it. It has the Bose stereo, so it should have a decent stereo. I have, in fact, already ordered my Pro Clip phone mount, so I'm actually using a suction cup mount right now, but I won't be using that in the future. It's what I wanted. I think it's going to do pretty well for me. I must say, I'm very excited that I'm going to be able to run just battery back and forth to work every day, not have to use gasoline. There is actually a parking garage, a surface lot, next to where I work that actually has 2-port charging, but I will be able to leech some electricity off now and then, even though I won't actually need to charge to get back and forth on just battery. I can charge at home and not have to worry about that. So, yeah, and to top it off, it seems sort of appropriate that today is actually Earth Day, so I have my plug-in hybrid now on Earth Day, driving home to use significantly less gasoline to get to work every day. So I guess at this point, I think that's all I have to share about it. I'm still getting used to it. Like I said, it's a very weird feeling to be driving a car that didn't make any noise.